Hello, good morning. Welcome to STS. Our topic for today is all about biodiversity and a healthy society. Let's start with biodiversity and ecosystem. When we say biodiversity, it is the variation of different life forms. It is the variations among animals, plants, and microorganisms. It is the totality of genes, species, and ecosystem of our region. It is also a term used to encompass all variability found in the living organisms in terrestrial and aquatic system. The variability among genomes of individuals, among populations of individuals within the same species, among species with the community. Among communities within the landscape can all be analyzed and may be linked to ecosystem services by Diaz in 2006. So biodiversity came from the word bio, meaning life, and diversity, meaning variety. It was first used by Dasman in 1968, the term biodiversity. Biodiversity has three levels: genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. When we say genetic diversity, it is the variety of genes within a species. When we say species diversity, it is the species variation within the habitat or a region. And when we say ecosystem diversity, it is the variety of ecosystems present in a geographical area. For example, genetic diversity, dogs with different genes. So dog is a species with different variations of genes, color of fur, eye color, or breed. When we say species diversity, variation of species. For example, in a community, there's a cat, there's a dog, there's a rat, like that. And when we say ecosystem, different ecosystems or biomes. For example, the forest, there's a desert in a continent or what we call geographical area. By definition, ecosystem is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscapes, work together to form a bubble of life. So in this diagram, it's a complete set with plants, animals, water, and so on. There are also abiotic factors. When we say abiotic factors, those are the non-living factors, the sunlight, the air, the waters, and the land. So when we say biotic factors, those are the animals and microorganisms like plankton, bacteria, protozoa, larger animals, and plants. When we say ecosystem services, it produces a high or rich array of benefits that people depend on. So those are the services offered by the ecosystem. Take note that biodiversity plays an important role in the way ecosystem and in the many services they provide. These services includes nutrients, water cycling, soil formation, retention, resistance against invasive species. When we say invasive species, those species um, that gather too much territory. Pollination of plants, regulation of climate, as well as pest and pollution is controlled by ecosystems. Furthermore, biodiversity is also the resource of non-material benefits like spiritual, aesthetic values, knowledge system, culture diversity, and spiritual inspiration. Because if we are seeing living organisms like plants and animals, we thought of our spiritual values. Like those are made by the God that we believe on, like that. Let's move on to changes in biodiversity. There are also changes in biodiversity because we all believe that change is the only permanent thing on Earth. So biodiversity also changes. There are there is an estimated total number of species, 3 million to 100 million, in which out of it only 1,435,662 species are identified all over the world. So there are species that are not discovered yet and do not have a name yet. So in India, it is believed that India is a mega diversity nation due to its rich floral and faunal web. When we say floral, species of flower with 45,000 plant species and as well as many animal species. India has only 2.4% of the world's land area, but it has 8.1% of the world's species diversity, making it one of the world's 12 mega diversity countries. When we say mega diversity, the organisms in that region are diverse or largely diverse. So in the recent time, there has been a great loss to the biodiversity, which has posed a serious threat to the survival of mankind. Because of human activities, it increased extinction rate by 100 times compared to its natural state, the natural rate of the earth. Biodiversity is declining due to natural or human-induced factors. So there are also natural factors that results to the decline of biodiversity, but human-induced factors make it more rapid. So natural or human induced factors that directly or indirectly cause a change in biodiversity as referred to drivers or what we call drivers. We call that drivers, the natural or human factors that cause change in biodiversity indirectly or directly. Those are the drivers. So here are the types of drivers, the direct drivers. It influences ecosystem processes like land use, climate change, invasive species, overexploitation, and pollution. So it's a mix of natural and man-made causes. We also have indirect drivers that operate more diffusely by altering more direct drivers. Here are the five indirect drivers of changes in the ecosystem. We have the population change, population in a region that change in economic activity, socio-political factors, cultural factors, and technological change. And because of these drivers, we encounter environmental change. It is one of the main causes of biodiversity loss. Environmental conditions play a key role in defining the function and distribution of organisms. In combination with other factors, environmental changes have had enormous impacts on biodiversity patterns in the past and will remain one of the major drivers of the biodiversity patterns in the future. So the environmental changes will still remain as a major driver of biodiversity patterns. So here are the environmental changes that are studied under the change of climate change, pollution, overpopulation, overexploitation of natural resources, and deforestation. When we say climate change, it also show significant impact on biodiversity and ecosystem. There are more extinctions, floods, droughts, population declines, and disease outbreaks because of climate change. So these impacts may become main direct driver of overall biodiversity loss. And it's the end of our discussion. Thank you for listening.